Welcome to another episode of the Added Time video guide series. In this episode we will show you how to add a new contact into the system. Contact being the term we give to any person or organisation whose information you need to store on the system, such as a customer, player, member, coach, member of staff, a venue, school or club. First thing we're going to do then is go up to the main menu at the top of the screen and click on the Contacts option. This displays the Contacts menu. Click on the Add a New Individual option if you want to add details of a new person, or click on the Add a New Organisation to add the details of an organisation. We're going to have a look at individuals, so let's click on the Add a New Individual menu option, which displays the Add New Individual Contact page. Many of the fields here are self-explanatory, so complete the details as prompted on the page. Now the general details are entered, we've come to the Roles section. The Roles section of the page enables us to tell the system what this person is to us. In this case, for our fictitious Coaching Program Limited company, we have set up 3 roles: Coach, Personnel and Player. We will show you how to add a new role or amend the existing ones later in this episode. For this example with Steve Lewis, we're going to click on Player. As you can see, a contact can have an unlimited number of roles. Once we've finished, we click on the Save button at the bottom of the screen. The system will save the details and then display the Contact Details page with the person details we have entered. We recommend you next watch the Updating Contact Details episode for details on what is displayed on this page and how to add further details about our contact into the system. For the remainder of this episode, we're going to take a close look now at the roles. In this example, you saw there were 3 already set up. You can create an unlimited number of these, as we will now show you. To edit any selection fields on the page, you will need to go to the System Settings page, which you can access by clicking on the Settings menu and selecting System Settings. Expand the Contact section and you will see options to update the roles for individuals and for organisations. In this episode we're going to look at the individuals, so click on the Role Individual option. The system now displays the roles we have currently set up for individuals. As you can see, Coach, Personnel and Player. Let's take a look at one of these. We have set up Player. The Edit Role page enables you to update the role details. On the left of the screen you can edit the description and the order the field is sorted when listing roles. If all of these sort order fields are left at 0, the sorting is in alphabetical order. On the right of the screen you will see how you can tell the system what the role should display when selected. Clicking on the Display Qualifications details means that the system will know that this role is linked to qualifications, and to show these if a contact has a role with this option ticked. This would typically be ticked for a role such as Coach, but not a Player, as in this example, because we would not typically record qualifications for a player. Clicking on the Discipline Details option tells the system to display disciplines for a contact linked to a role with this selected. For sporting organisations, a discipline is likely to be a sport, and on this system we have set up 4 disciplines such as tennis and squash for our fictitious company. You can, of course, enter as many as you like. For a contact who is linked to a role with this option ticked, you would be able to record their playing standard, the groups they belong to, etc. for a given discipline. For this particular role we would tick Display Discipline Details because we want to display discipline details for anybody with the role Player. Clicking on the Personnel Details option tells the system to display personnel-related details for a contact linked to a role with this selected, and this would display information such as rates of pay and availability. Clicking on the Membership Details option tells the system to display membership-related details for a contact linked to a role with this selected, and this would display membership details such as category, fees paid, etc. As you can see, this flexibility to create your own roles means that you can decide what you want to call a role rather than the system dictating this to you. You might decide to call a coach an instructor or a tutor. The choice is yours. Let's now go back to our list of roles. We're now going to set up a new role called Inquiry, and we're going to use this for anyone who contacts our fictitious company inquiring about joining the program. Click on the Add New option in the page menu. This will display the Add New Role Individual page. Our description is going to be Inquiry. We'll leave the sort order set at 0. On the right of the page we will not be ticking any of these options, since we do not want to record any of these specific information about someone who just inquires about our program. All we really want to do is just assign them to this new role so that we can run a query later to extract all of the contacts with this role, perhaps to send a marketing email to. Once finished, click on the Save button to save the role details, and you will then see our new role has been saved. We will now go back to the Contact menu and select an Add New Individual and link somebody to this new role. Let's imagine that someone has just called and inquired, and we are now going to record their details and assign them to the new inquiry role. We now click on the inquiry role and click on the Save button. As you can see, we've not recorded any specific details about David Parker, but he is now marked as Inquiry in our Roles section. If this person does decide later to join the program, we could of course update their roles to remove Inquiry and assign them to a new one, probably Player. For all of those contacts that stay as Inquiry, we can periodically go into the Query page, filter by role, and then run a query. The system will then show us all of those with that role, and we can then send them a marketing email with the click of a button. We recommend that you watch the episode on how to use this particular page, the Contact Query page, in this video series to find out more on how to use this very powerful tool. Thank you for listening to this episode, and we hope you found it useful. You can subscribe to our monthly newsletter full of tips and hints on how to get the best out of Added Time at www.intoaddedtime.com.